Good to have you here. So good to have you here. I can see the reactions. So it just says that you can hear me, right? I think that we have our panelists, and so it won't be bad to already start. Won't be, I love the energy that I'm already beginning to feel from everyone who is here, coming in here right on time, and just being expectant to learn and to take in everything that HOMEX has for you today. This webinar is a build up as a series of webinars that's also leading towards the event happening next year from the 19th to 21st of May 2026 in Lagos. And of course, the theme for that event is exploring innovative home interior and furniture design trends in West Africa. And so we're looking at conversations that really drive and that really fuels us up towards that event. So it's a pleasure to have everyone here, like I said at the start. So I'd really like to take this opportunity and just have our Vivian give us a welcome remark, an opening remark, right? She's here. So hi, Vivian. Sure you want to unmute and speak now.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, hi. I hope you can hear me. Hi.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is Vivian Godonive. I'm the event manager for Atlantic Exhibition, the organizer of HOMEX, Home Expo West Africa. So we're welcoming everyone to today's webinar. Thanks for joining us, and we're thrilled to have you here as we spotlight one of our fastest evolving industry on the continent, home design, decor, and lifestyle innovation. So we're here to talk about HOMEX and some of the opportunity that you stand to get when you come for our exhibition. So HOMEX is set to hold next year, May, from the 19th to 21st of May. So what HOMEX promises to offer is a platform where exhibitors can meet with their audiences. So the target audiences that they are expected to have and to do business with. So HOMEX is promising to provide that platform for us at Eco Hotels and Suites at the Convention Center area. And then we are promising to also provide a business to business area where international brands can meet with our local brands here in Nigeria, and also to do business together for the future. So from rising consumer expectations to the needs for sustainability, affordable and smart living solutions, we're here to offer the opportunity for our exhibitors and also our audiences. So we look forward to powerful insights from the panelists that we are going to be having today. And we are hoping that everyone on this platform enjoys the webinar. Welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Thank you so much. That was really apt. And it just covered everything and the essence of why we're here. And like she said, we look forward to, having the conversations, learning from the panelists, and of course, having a swell time today. So without further ado, I'd just like to introduce our panelists. We already have them. We have women. I like to call them powerhouses because when I see women like this, I'm like, okay, there's the future of the industry, the interior design, the home. Basically, there's just the future of this industry, and we see women driving these conversations. And we have Madam Aisha Lawal, who is the founder and CEO of Lash Interiors, and we also have Titilokbe Ibikunle, who is the founder and creative director at Make New Designs. So good to have you here, ma'am. Madams. I chose to make that plural because, yeah, so you might want to unmute. You might also want to turn on your camera just so that we start the conversation proper.
morning.
Hi.
Good to be here.
Good to have you here. It's such a delight, such a pleasure to have you here. I'm Tatilok, where we see you, and yes, we're excited. So we're very excited, and we're sure that the next 30 minutes with you in this panel will be, very educating, enlightening, and one that will leave everyone here, all our attendees, excited and fueled up for the event in, May, and also for the industry and for their work as players in the industry, right? So I just begin with Aisha Lawal. Right. By the way, you look very amazing. I mean, our panelists look really amazing this morning. And I just decided to take some time to
Thank
just
you.
comment that. Yeah. So how have consumer preferences in home design and interior decor evolved in recent years across West Africa, and what trends are driving these changes? I mean, you founded, a company in this industry, and so what have you seen in line with consumer preferences in home design and interior decor? Has it evolved in recent years across West Africa? And what trends have you identified that are driving these changes?
Hi, good morning. Okay, so let me just introduce myself again for those that don't know. My name is Aisha Lawal. I'm the CEO of Lash Interiors, a homeware and interior design firm. We've been existing for some years now. So yes, to your question. So over the years, we as interior designers, we've noticed that design trends have changed, consumer behaviors have changed. Some years back, people just wanted simple designs, or people that really wanted to go all out chose to do like a maximalist design. They just put everything all together. But now we are saying that there's a lot more exposure, and I think this is majorly because of social media. It's a global world now. People are more exposed to trending designs, and they are aware that they can achieve those things that they see. So now we have clients come to designers and say, "Oh, this is the exact thing that I want." They're tending towards maybe European design and all of that, minimalist design, simple things, but very modern. So modern minimalist design, so to speak. But these days, we have noticed another change again, that people are now tending towards traditional designs. So in as much as you want like a modern minimalist kind of design, we're also accepting our heritage as Africans. So people now accept to use traditional designs mixed with modern design. So it's like a hybrid kind of interior design. So even if you see a simple space with normal sofas, they put some pieces that have like African touch to it. So they might have like some wooden pieces. They can have wooden artworks. They can even have some people are going as far as using like Adire sofas, Ankara prints in their interior design. So they are mixing all of that. People are now more confident about the African heritage. So everybody is doing that these days. So I think that's where we are at now. And a lot of this is, like I said, is because of social media. People now have access to Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. Everybody wants to go into what's trending, and they know that they can actually get it right in their environment. So yes, that's where we are right now. It's a bit challenging for interior designers, but we are also also adapting, because now you have clients that will say, this is the exact thing that I want, and you have to pull it off. So we as interior designers too, we are catching up with those demands, and we're making it happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I like the fact that you said clients come in now these days and they tell you exactly what they want. The advent of
Yeah.
technology is really, really, evolving and shaping what the future of designs and interior home decor looks like. And it would bring me to my question on smart technologies and smart homes. But before I go there, I just like to, have this question for Titi Lope Ibikunle. And yes, so make new designs, right? You're doing something really amazing for this industry. So what kind of partnerships between real estate developers, retailers, and designers are proving most efficient in delivering modern and desirable living spaces. I mean, just like our previous speaker said, there's been interest now, there's Instagram now, people have their choices, people are seeing so many things happen. And I'm sure this does not just, affect only the decorators or the interior designers, right? It goes a long way from the real estate, work, development to all of that. So what kind of partnerships do you see or do you think should exist between real estate developers, retailers, designers to prove most efficient in modern and desirable living spaces? So your microphone is muted, so you might want to unmute first.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Fine, we can hear you now.
All right, so thank you for having me and allow me to say hi to my colleague. Hi, Aisha. Good to have you here.
Hello, it's nice to see you.
All right, so to answer your question, there are a couple of partnership that exists between these practitioners, right? To mention a few, we have the joint venture, the JV, particularly known as the JV. We have the design and build partnership. We also have the consultancy and the staging partnership, right? And from experience, right, I would say the JV, which is a joint venture, and the design and build partnership have proven to be most efficient, or some of the most efficient, because they might be more in helping to improve and better people's living experience. And so to just give an explanation to that, the design and build partnership allows the interior designers and to come in early on the project, right? That way they are able to influence or impute layout, design finishes, material, right? That eventually help to create a cohesive living space for the end user, right? It's very people conscious, right? Because you have the opportunity to plan from the onset, right? The same thing also applies to the JV. The JV also allows this practitioner to collaborate together from the onset of the project, right? And that way they are able to design the space with a consciousness of how people live and how people will use the space. So in a nutshell, these two partnerships, from my own experience, have proven to be some of the most effective.
So there was one word you used which I really liked, and I think it was people conscious, right, for the end user. So, because I think the end goal really is that in every step of the way in building and coming up with these designs, it has to be to the satisfaction of the end users. And I really loved that input and that take. Thank you so much. And so smart home technologies, right? Aisha, you said you came up with a conversation around technology, digital innovation, and how it's really even influencing, your user's choice of, living space, and it's driving the changes in trends. So smart home technologies, it just brings me to that question on smart home technologies. And, how is it's really gaining traction, first off, globally, right? A lot of homes now, a lot of, consumers, not necessarily homes, even how do they call it now? Spaces. I just like to use the word spaces because office spaces, corporate spaces, a lot of people are adopting smart home technologies in their, housing and their development. So how feasible is this integration into the average West African home, and what barriers still exist, right? Because there's a tendency to think that smart home technologies is really something that can be used for some part of the world, and the African homes are not. We're not yet ready to integrate and embrace this. So the question now is how feasible is this integration into the average African home, and what barriers still exist for this integration?
Okay, thank you very much. So smart home technologies, like we have mentioned, in this world of today, everybody is aware of trends and everybody has access to developing technology that is happening now. So we have seen that a lot of homeowners now want to sort of input this smart form of technology into their system, smart automations, window blinds, CCTV, so many things. smart locks, and like you have mentioned, it's not just in your home, it's in every space now, even in your offices. Everybody needs like a smart lock. It's safer. There's so many advantages to it. It's easier. Yeah. So everybody's trying to adopt that now. But the problem still lies that we have some issues here in West Africa and in Nigeria specifically, because smart automations are quite expensive. Although we have cheaper alternatives now for some smart automations, like as basic as CCTV. In those days, if you want to have a CCTV in your office, you're going to spend thousands and millions of naira. But now we have smaller forms, cheaper alternatives that people could use. Yes, so that's for expenses. We also have the issues with internet. If you want to use anything smart, you will need internet services. So there are some barriers with that, because some people don't have access to good internet services. But that is also gradually getting better. Yeah. And then we also have problem of what's it called? Um, what's it called? Power. Power is very important. But gradually, we're also having solutions like we have solar powered automations. You don't necessarily need to rely completely on power supply. Those are limitations here right now in West Africa. It's still quite expensive for everybody to afford all of this. But yes, people that can afford it are leaning towards it, and are trying to even get the basic ones that they can get at the moment, and with time they can improve. So in interior design, if you have like a proper client that needs a new build, you definitely want to tell them about smart automations. You don't want to still be behind. You want to do what's trending and what's helpful. So it's not just a trend. It's actually very functional. So yes, that's where we are at now.
So I actually have a question for you from what you said, but I just want to
Okay.
emphasize something while we proceed, and that is really the fact that there is a webinar and there's a form that has just been dropped in the chat right now. So to attend or exhibit at the HOMEX webinar in 2026, which is happening on 19th to 21st of May, you want to register. You want to click on that form now and register, because I mean, if you think you're having conversations here, which of course we are having conversations here, you just want to imagine what's going to be happening, where you get to meet with our panelists here, you get to meet with other people and other players in the industry. This event is for interior designers, hotel and hospitality managers, corporate buyers, government and housing authorities, tech enthusiasts, and a whole lot more. So if you haven't registered and you're attending now this webinar, you will just want to click on the link that has been dropped in the chat box, and then register, lock it in your calendar, fill the form already. So back to you, Aisha. You said something around the challenges around power supply and electricity, and of course we have solar. Like you mentioned, solar systems, which helps, in very many cases to avert the challenge of electricity and power supply for smart homes and corporate spaces, right? So now it made me think, and I was just wondering, what do we now see? I mean, what's the future like for this industry when it has to do with smart homes? So in the next 4 to 5 years, do you think that we'll still be having the same challenges that we have now? Do you think that power will still be a challenge? Do you think that as many of the challenges that you mentioned, right? Do you think would still exist in the next 5 years, 6 years, or do you think that by then we would have averted this and would be riding smoothly?
Well, we are very confident that things will get better. We are hopeful. One of the reasons is these days a lot of we're having young tech savvy population now. So I know that
Yeah,
people keep coming up with things. There's not going to be a halt in
solutions to
advancement. Yes.
problems.
So there's definitely going to be improvement with all of these setbacks. And yes, we all know that the country is getting better as well. People now have power supply in a lot of areas, and
Yeah.
even the solar powered ones that we have spoken about is not as expensive as it was initially. And I know it will keep getting better. So those are the solutions that I think would definitely help in making it a commonplace here in Nigeria.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that input. I mean, it was really profound, and it just emphasizes the reason why tech enthusiasts should even be in conversations around, home designs, interior, and I mean, and I really want to take a minute to just applaud HOMEX for these. And like you said, right, solutions are coming. People are building products that solve problems, and we're hopeful this will bring a change to even the interior and even this industry, really. So thank you once again for that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, look, we're over to you, right? Um, I mean, we've been having conversations for the past couple of minutes on the future, on opportunities, on loopholes. So how can the industry really build a stronger pipeline of design and technical talent to meet the future demand for skilled professionals across the value chain, right? So because I mean we have people already working, but then there's the demand. The demand is, on the increase. The demand is and like we started off the conversation talking around how, the users have their own preferences now, and it boils down to the players in the industry to ensure that we meet these preferences and we satisfy them. So how can this industry now build a stronger pipeline of design and technical talent so who are able to meet the future demand, who are able to meet the current and future demand for skilled professionals across the value chain?
All right. To answer your question, right, I think the industry can do that in two ways, through education and through hands-on experience, right? In terms of education, our universities, technical schools, interior design schools, right, need to constantly update their curriculum to be able to match up with the ever-evolving industry need, right? The industry is constantly evolving, just like my colleague talked about the use of technology, right? It's in the past couple of years, there's been a boom in technology and how it affects the way that we live, right? So our learning system needs to constantly improve and update their curriculum to equip this talent, right? Then also for education, our talent, our individuals, right, also need to upskill, right? They need to upskill, they need to consciously, and if you know you want to be in the industry, is what you are called to and what you love to do, and you want to impact people, it's important that you are constantly updating yourself, updating your knowledge, your skill, right? Then in terms of education as well, the government can also support, right, industry, right, by sponsoring people, providing resources to help them learn and upskill, right? And in terms of education, I mean, hands-on experience, the practitioners should take up more people, more talent for mentorship, for internship. I know we're doing that, right? Some of us and many people are doing that, not even some, but it can be better, right? Have people come on board so they can have hands-on experience of how the industry work, our processes, and what to do. And also, in terms of experience, practitioners should begin to put out themselves, begin to teach people. That way you can reach more people across the internet. It's something we call content creation now, right? You can begin to, from your experience, from your knowledge, begin to share what you know. That way more people can, can learn, right? And even for, again, for practitioners that have more structured and established businesses, right? Practice rather, let's not limit people or our talent to admin tasks alone in the office. Let's get them involved in real life experience, real life project. That way they understand and they know how things work, and they can better, provide their service or better help people and improve general living experience.
Thank you so much. I mean, I caught our other guests smiling when you were responding, and I was wondering if you wanted to like chime in on that conversation. I mean, the fact that we have this talent gap and people who want to, I mean, how ready are we to train the talent, to train people for the next for the future demand, for the current and future demand? How ready are we, and what training, what should we be doing really Ma'am, Titilope mentioned a couple of things like going through upskilling, current, always ensuring that you're going through trainings, you're going back to train yourself, you're mentoring people, you're sharing ideas, you're sharing from your wealth of experience through content creation that is very pronounced. I mean that is the in thing now. So are there other things that you think you should be are there other things that we ought to be doing, right? To ensure that we're training and we're having a stronger pipeline of talents, both technical talents and soft skills generally for this industry.
I think she has made a lot of points that quite sums it up. But generally, I think the general population should also be aware that for a growing economic nation like us, we all need to know that manufacturing is very important for the growth of the economy. So gone are those days where the economy depends solely on some aspects. Maybe even with parents, they just want their kids to be engineers or nurses or doctors or all those kind of professions. But now we need to let everybody know that manufacturing is very, very important in every aspect. So it's not just interior design, manufacturing as a whole. So we are, as an economy, we are not depending on so much of importation of everything from food to so many things. So if we as a nation know that, yes, for our growth, we need to manufacture. So in terms of interior design, we need to manufacture furnitures, we need to manufacture lightings and all of those things. And we have government support and all of those things put into place. In schools, like she has mentioned, we need more technical schools, especially in secondary schools. Students need to be aware that they can become interior designers, they can become furniture manufacturers, and it's a profitable profession and a honorable one as well. I think it will go a long way to develop the space of interior design and manufacturing generally in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So there's so much that we have to do. There's so much that we have to do, and these conversations, help us to see where the gaps are and see what we ought to be doing. And just to mention, right, this conversation, of course, is from our panelists, and we have them here, very seasoned people who are, playing and then leading the growth of the industry. But if you have questions and you want to engage in the conversation, feel free to leave your questions in the chat box. And my eyes are there. I'll take your questions. You can, just feel free to leave your questions in the chat box and we'll engage. If you have questions for them, if you also have contributions, if you have something to chime in, also we're open to having that conversation. All right. So I will go back to Ma'am Titilope, right? And this question says, we've talked a lot about different things. We've talked about smart homes, technology, we've talked about the government's part and the role the government has to play. We've talked about how, the players ourselves, what we have to do to train the pipeline, to train, pipeline of talent and ensure that we're meeting future demands. We've also talked about the user preferences and the trends now. But we need to also say something around, the rising cost of rising and fluctuating cost of materials, right? So with this rising and fluctuating cost of materials and the availability, it is sometimes you want to get a product, you want to get something for your work, for a project, and that it's not available at the moment, or it's really high, in cost and all of that. What strategies can interior designers adopt to maintain project affordability and timelines without compromising on quality? So I want to give my users the best. I also want to ensure that I'm delivering at a time when they need this, product, when they need this delivered. But there is the rising cost of, products of materials. There's also the problem with fluctuating availability in the market. So what strategies have you adopted and what do you think that others can adopt to ensure that we meet users' demand with quality, timely, and without even compromising on anything at all?
All right. So to answer that question, let me put this out first. We're talking about affordability. Affordability is relative, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean cheap.
I don't know if it's just me, but I think that your microphone is a bit low. Is it just me?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Let me take off my earpiece.
Oh, that's fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, also, my name is really
Okay, I
clear.
was struggling to hear you earlier. That was why I used my earpiece. Yeah, so I was saying that affordability, I wanted to establish the fact that affordability is not necessarily cheap. It is relative, right? It has to do with what clients want and what they can actually afford, right? Now, one of the or few of the ways that the strategies that we take to be able to manage that kind of situation is early on in the project, early on dealing with your clients, who are the end users, right? You set expectations, right? And in setting expectation, you discuss with them early on that, okay, these are the possible outcome that these are the possible things we can experience in the course of this project, right? And that way you have prepared their mind, like, okay, this material the price can double, right? You can find yourself in a situation where it's no longer available, right? But because your mind is already prepared, when you find yourself in that kind of situation, it's not a struggle. And then you are able to provide them. So when that kind of situation comes up, you are able to provide them with alternatives, right? Alternative and options that will give same quality and will give that is within the budget, right? That they can afford. And then you also discuss those alternatives with them and you leave them to choose, right? Another strategy is communication. In what we do, communication is a big deal. You cannot you cannot over communicate. You need to, for every situation you find yourself in your design process, because you don't have control over the availability of material. You don't have control over the cost of material, right? And then things can change. But when you communicate at every point in time and at every experience you encounter, I think from my experience, most clients are reasonable, right? And they are able to adjust when necessary, right? And another way would be your contract, right? Your design, your service contract. Right in your contract before you start, you would have stated it that there is possibility that things can change. That way the client is aware, right? If all falls back to communication, communicate with your client, and when things change, you are able to adopt and adapt to the situation.
Thank you so much. I mean, I found your responses very, very apt, very, 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 I mean, just very clear and realistic. The fact that we cannot over communicate, and sometimes we make these mistakes because we under communicate, or we think that we haven't even stated the things out, and we expect them to to know, to expect what is going on, to know the realities, right? But you said something around making sure that we set clear expectations, helping them know what challenges can come into play. But then there was this thing you said that makes me want to ask this question, and that was, can you hear me clearly?
A bit, I'm struggling, but go ahead.
Sorry about that. So there was this thing you said when you mentioned that so you find some clients very reasonable and they understand once you're able to communicate well, set expectations and everything that you said, all the strategies that you've already highlighted. But has there been an instance where you met a client that was, that that was a bit of a bother and that to you, and how did you handle it? Right? You probably set you set expectations, you communicated, you were communicating on the goal, and it turned out that the person didn't understand, or the person didn't, quite grasp the reality of what you're doing. So was there a way you handled it that you think that it would be of great use to everyone who is watching or who is listening in right now?
All right, so I'm going to say this, and this is strictly based on experience, right? I've had that kind of situation, and the only thing that saved us at the time was our contracts. That was the only thing, because in our contract we would always put the clause that in the event that price changes or material is not available, and we have communicated, then there's really nothing much we can do, right? And we share the available options with you, and the client is left to make that decision. And to be honest, that was the only, because the client ended up being a client that wanted, there's some people that if they see something and they've fallen in love with it, that's just what they want, right? And then from our own part, it's the responsibility of the designer or the practitioner to go out of your way. If you truly want to serve your clients, all right, you go out of your way to search for that thing, because you have resources, you have vendors, you have contractors, you have your colleague that have more network, right? So you must have gone out of your way to truly source for that thing. And if eventually you do not get it, again, you come back to the client and communicate. And if the client is seeming, permit my word, seeming unreasonable, then there's really nothing you can do, because you are not the manufacturer of this thing. So you have less control, right? So again, it's a contract that helped us resolve that situation.
So thank you very much for that. I mean, I find this very, very insightful for many reasons, because some people get into these kind of businesses with clients without a contract. And so I'm just imagining, and my head is, all over the place, wondering what could have come of your, of your efforts, your business, your reputation, if you didn't have that contract in place. So, I mean, I don't think that it would be wrong to say, as part of the ways to manage these expectations and to also deliver quality without compromise and be timely too in delivering, your service, I think setting clear expectations in your contract and emphasizing that there is a contract that is, that has been agreed upon by the clients. That's something that, will help, because, like you said, it is not in your place. It is not. I mean, the cost in the market is really based on so many other factors, and it is not dependent on you, right? So thank you very much for that response. And this ought to be our final question, but again, I just want to emphasize that if there are questions from everyone who is listening in, please feel free to ask your questions in the comments. That is why we brought, people who have walked the path and who can answer your questions. They are players in the industry. They're doing, I mean, they're providing service to everyone, to use as end users just like you, and they are very available to take your questions and engage with you. So before I proceed to ask for questions from our participants, I want to ask Ma'am Aisha this last question. Hopefully it's the last question though. So what strategies can bridge the gap between interior design needs and local furniture and homeware manufacturing capabilities to reduce import dependency? Do you want me to take that again?
Please come again.
Yeah, so I said, what strategies can bridge the gap between interior design needs and local furniture and homeware manufacturing capabilities to reduce import dependency?
Okay, these days, homeowners and clients have understood that importation is very expensive, and sometimes is you don't get what you want at the time that you need it, right? Because it takes a lot of time for you to get products over here. Yes. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. So now people now accept local production, locally made furniture. For example, I have a furniture factory that I make my own furniture. So it has really helped us a lot in carrying out our projects. So when we have any design needs from our clients, we just easily tell them that, oh, we can make these, and then we alter things as need be, the ones that is possible to make here and the ones that we might not be able to produce, which is very rare. So that's what's helping me personally. I have a furniture factory, so we produce furniture for our project. So generally, population also knows now, they're accepting that local production is top notch now. So you can get exactly what you need as you have seen it online or as you have imagined it. So we are bringing dreams alive. We are making interior designs possibilities endless, right? So that's the way to go now. Local manufacturing has really helped a lot with interior design now.
We have thank you so much, ma'am. We have a comment from someone, and the person says this is from Ifeoma, and she says, from experience, what is the best way to handle over negotiation? That is a client negotiating beyond reasonable. What's the best way to handle this?
So beyond reasonable is relative. So people have different thresholds. For me, I have the ability to be able to withstand client needs, and clients are hardly overbearing to me. So what I'll just tell you is, this is what you want. This is what we can achieve. Again, it comes back to technology. So these days you can show clients what they want. You can develop 3D renderings so they have their expectations. There are no surprises at the end of your project and all of that. So you just need to be very patient and understanding with your clients. But in very few cases where you have difficult clients that just don't want to listen at all, you have the free will to say, oh, I can't go further with this because I won't be able to satisfy your particular need. So that's the best way. But you should always try and keep your cool and try and understand your clients.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Keep your cool, understand your clients, and I mean, if you cannot use technology wisely, use technology to your advantage. I like that you said 3D designs and all of those things that can show the clients what you're able to deliver. Ma'am Titilope, do you want to chime in on that? What's the best way to handle over negotiation? That is a client negotiating beyond reasonable, in Ifeoma's words.
All right, so I'm going to take a cue from what my colleague had said. Um, so you want to, first of all, some of the reasons why clients over negotiate sometimes because they do not understand the value of what you want to deliver, what you want to give to them, right? And just like my colleague has said, that like producing a 3D, if you can afford it, right? So if you produce a 3D and show to them, and you're able to explain to them, they see the value in what you are giving them. That way, they might reconsider the price point that they're pushing to you, right? That's one option. Another thing is that as a professional or as a business person, you should have your standard, right? You should have your standard of service, of product. If you're a product person, you should also have a threshold that you cannot go beyond. And then the essence of the standard is, it helps you to how do I say this now? The standard helps you to be able to deliver quality, right? You know that for me to produce this and deliver quality on this is the cost. This is what is going to cost me. So again, you need to understand your costing and then be able to create a standard for yourself. And if you see that this person, you have explained the value and the person still not budging and still over negotiating, just like she said, Aisha said, you have the free will to let the person go. Because at the end of the day, if you go ahead with it, right, and you are pressed to manage the cost, right? You will compromise on your quality and it will come back to bite you because the client will end up holding you responsible for the bad job or the bad quality you deliver. So I hope I'm able to answer that.
I just realized I was muted. Hi, Foma. So I was saying that I hope that answered your question very well. And if you have follow-up questions, please feel free to let us know in the comments or in the chat box, and we'll take them. Like our panelists have said, set clear standards again, right? Let them know what you're able to do. And you might just want to take a cue from, what Ma'am Aisha said, which is have a 3D. Let them see, use technology to your advantage. Let them see that this is what you're going to deliver. And then if they do not want, you can as well back down and keep your cool while you're at it. Also, just like Tilope said, right? You also want them to be. You also want to be sure that you can deliver on these with that budget. So you're not going ahead with something that you cannot deliver on, so that it doesn't fall back at you when they are dissatisfied. Because at the end of everything, right, you have to be user conscious and people conscious, right? So we're looking forward to having more questions from you, but I want to take a minute and go fill the form for everyone who is on listening in right now. There's a form in the chat that says, to attend or exhibit at HOMEX 2026, kindly use this link. So you want to use this link now. So give a minute for you to, lock that in your calendar, fill the form right now. And 19th to 21st of May 2026 is the date, and it's happening in Lagos here. And the theme for that conference is exploring innovative home interior and furniture design trends in West Africa. And what some of the things that you're going to be gaining from that conference is not just the conference as the word is, you'd also be having an bit to B2B matchmaking, networking, and several other opportunities. And so I'm sure that you also want to listen into conversations just like this, and you do not want to miss out on that. And if you have questions, if you need more information on the exhibition, on how to attend, you're having a difficult time with the form or with registering, you want to reach out to +2 be sure that we do not have any other questions from all our listeners. Hi, Ifoma. I'm really very keen to know if your question was answered to your satisfaction, or you have a follow-up question, or you want to add some more context to it. We have our panelists who are here and available to answer through. But then, in the absence of no question, I don't know if someone is typing. But in the absence of no question, right? It's a reminder to register for the HOMEX conference. It's an exhibition for interior designers, hotel and hospitality managers, corporate buyers, government and housing authorities, tech enthusiasts, importers and exporters, trade dealers, distributors, and so on 19th to 21st of May 2026, you want to be at Eco Hotel Lagos, you want to be in this conference, you want to exhibit, you want to listen in, you want to network, you want to just, have maybe even the B2B matchmaking, you want to just take in everything that HOMEX has put in store for you at this conference. So yes, that is that for our conversation right now. And so in the absence of further questions, I just like to say a very big thank you to our speakers who took out their time to come here, share from their wealth of knowledge, from their experience. To everyone who is on the call, this has been really insightful. It's been time well spent for me. It was even such a pleasure to meet Aisha Lawal, to meet Titilokwe, Ibikunle. To learn about what you're doing, to learn about how they are, tackling challenges and their prediction for the future and the trends, in our industry. So it was such a pleasure to have you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our panelists. And once again, a very big shout out to HOMEX for putting this together. We look forward to hosting you. I want to ask, just like our panelists, to say a word. One word for, let's say, for I'm a young interior designer. I'm very enthusiastic. All I do is I just go through Pinterest, I see designs and all of that. And I'm excited about starting a career here. I know one of our panelists said something around enlightening, even the secondary school curriculum, and having people know that they can be even beyond doctors, engineers, as much as those are very good professions. This is also a very viable and and a very, very, what's the word now? A very good profession, a profession where you also want to I mean, an industry where you want to start a career and grow in to serve the people. So for someone like me, for someone like the secondary school child who is looking to start a career in this industry, what is your word of advice for me and for many others? So I think this question is, I'm directing this question to Ma'am Titi Lokwe first and then to Aisha Lawal.
All right. First of all, I'll tell you that your desire, your dream is very valid and it's achievable because there are many other people in that industry and in that line. So you need to hold that to heart. Secondly, get skilled, get trained, right? Because it's a mix of a technical, professional, a professional profession, if there's anything like that, and it's also very practical, right? So get trained, learn all the theory, so to say, the technical part of it, all right? It will help you a lot, right? And then also, after you have learned that, get to intern, right? Get to intern with an existing firm, right? That's going to put you in the practical way, right? It's because beyond the finish, the aesthetics that people see, interior design is a whole lot, right? The technical part, it's human relation, it's communication, it requires ethic and conduct. There's just a lot behind it. So you attaching yourself to an already existing firm helps you to learn the rope, help you to see how to manage artisans, how to manage your clients, how to just walk around and be in the profession and eventually be the best of yourself. So I hope that's is handy.
Yes, I mean, that answered very well the question. And I like that you even touched based on soft skills apart from the technical skills. You talked about communication, ethics, and so many more. I don't want to, I mean, I think perfect. And so since we have this follow-up question from a former Ogali, so I just want Aisha to take this. And she says the panelist has been able to answer the question. So thank you so much to our very amiable and distinguished panelists. So, but however, for a beginner in the interior design, what are the ways in gaining clients and their trust?
I didn't get that.
Okay, so she said, for a beginner in the interior design, in the interior design industry, I think that's what she's trying to say. What are the ways in gaining clients and their trust?
Okay. Aisha, do you want to take that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so actually for Aisha.
Okay, if you're a new interior designer, I think my colleague has mentioned a lot about communication and being open with your clients. Let them know that you're a trusted brand. It's basically, it just boils down to communication, and always deliver what you say you would. And in cases where you can't, always let your clients know ahead. Always carry them along. Another thing that is important is technology, like we have said earlier. Take advantage of technology, take advantage of social media. It will help showcase your talents in and in building up trust that people will have with your brand. So it's easy for you to gain new clients. It's easy for you to develop your business and grow your brand.
Yeah, so take advantage of technology, take advantage of social media, and I'm sure that everyone here found this very helpful. So one more thing, I just want to give you this what do I call it? This extra, right? So if you're here and you've heard everything and you're also gaining anticipation, you're already anticipating the conference happening next year, and you've heard that you're going to be networking, but you've met panelists here and they've asked while speaking, and then she said, you take advantage of social media. I would want you to just rush, take your phone now. Immediately you're done filling the form and registering and locking it in your calendar, you would want to just go follow these people on social media. They've said it. So it means they are taking advantage of social media. So you want to follow their footsteps. So you see, and gain inspiration and just spoil yourself and look forward to more, even from them. So thank you very much once again. Thank you very much once again. It was a very wonderful time having you both in this webinar, and we look forward to more and more and more conversations. We actually even look forward to seeing everything that we've discussed here being implemented by all the participants. Want to see more people, inspire people to start a career in this industry. We also want to see more people desire to mentor people, and people desire to be mentored by others. And we also want to see ourselves at the HOMEX, at the conference happening next year, 19th to 21st May 2026, exploring innovative home interior and furniture design trends in West Africa. So till some other time, I want to say thank you again. Thank you, HOMEX. Thank you, everyone. And such a pleasure. See you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure you want to say something. You're smiling. You want to say your own thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Ma'am Titilope, your voice would make everything matter
I
right
think she
now.
has spoken for us. Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
So bye for now, everyone.
All right, bye.